Hello, welcome back to Śakti Śṛṅgāra. This is episode 4 of the Visha Vijñāna series where we're exposing the everyday poisons that are hidden in our hygiene routines. And today we talk about toothpaste, something we've used twice a day since childhood. And here's what we're covering. First, we'll talk about how toothpaste, the using habit, was manufactured or created, and what the poisons inside of the tube actually are, including one of my favorite topics, the fluoride fraud. And we'll talk about ancestral knowledge of what actually works and how to clean your teeth. And also I'll cover off some DIY formulas, which you'll find towards the end of the video. Okay, and if you remember nothing else but one thing today, I hope you remember just this: Neem to clean, coconut to pull, and triphala to protect. Okay, because our mouth is our body's first immune gateway, and we're going to stop sterilizing the first defense. Let's cover off the big players and profit first. Okay, toothpaste is a habit that is built for maximum profits. You buy a tube and it's full of foaming action and flavor because we were taught to do so from the very young age of 4. And there are only 4 companies, the big ones. Well, there are more, but Colgate, GlaxoSmithKline, Unilever, and Procter & Gamble, they own 70% of the global market. Colgate alone sells to 4.2 billion people globally, and they pull in 18 billion USD a year, half of it from oral care. Okay, in India, Colgate is a major player along with Dabur, Patanjali, and Himalaya. And they've built in these beautiful, lovely, long lifetime habits and daily sales, okay? Because each tube costs under 40 cents to make, but they sell for up to $9, sometimes more if they're the clean versions or the healthy versions. And the profit is actually not even in the paste itself. It's in the conditioning of making you buy it for use 2 times a day. Even brands like Hello, Tom's of Maine, and in India, brands like Vico, Biotique, and Forest Essentials, they still follow the same sales models. And they market themselves as natural or Ayurvedic, but they still include harsh chemicals like SLS. And that contradicts their claims of being chemical-free or natural. And when we look at the toothpaste ads and the fake beliefs they sold us, you'll see that they show us that all mouth bacteria must be killed, all of it, even though there's also good bacteria in there. And foam means that something is working, and that mint means that you're clean, and that white teeth mean that you are good and healthy. These are called engineered sensory triggers, and they're created to sell a product. And even the term halitosis, it wasn't even a disease. It was created by a company who sold it to Listerine as a marketing tool. And then toothpaste recycled that same tactic: invent the problem, then sell a cure. So by the time we hit age 7, you start at 4, sometimes even earlier. I know I did start earlier, but by age 7, this whole entire routine is set, and as an adult, you don't question it. And that's because of that sensory reinforcement we just talked about. So using toothpaste with a tingle signal that makes you think it's clean, and burning implies it's sanitary, and really, really sinister. Sweet flavor means it's safe. That's really awful because the primal area of the brain recognizes sweet flavors as like fruit or something that's safe to eat, and that taste becomes an illusion of what truth is, because toothpaste is the furthest thing away from safe. Okay, and dental schools, they're not neutral. Dentists are trained by corporations. I love my dentist. My dentist is a childhood friend, and they're great people. Most dentists, for the most part, are wonderful, wonderful people, but they are still trained by corporations. And schools rely on funding from Colgate and Procter & Gamble. They fund textbooks and kits. Fluoride is not a standard because it's the best thing for you or it's healthy. It is promoted because it's most promoted. It's the most heavily insured, and it's totally institutionalized. So things like Ayurveda, oil pulling, microbiome support, you don't hear about that in dental school. It's rarely taught. This is what you call corporate capture, okay? Schools are shaped by the chemical company funding. Okay, dentists are great at treating pain and emergency. You've lost a tooth, go see a dentist. They're wonderful. But they're also trained to equate foam from toothpaste with function and fluoride with cavity prevention. Some of that unlearning, it's happening with some dentist's office. They're switching to rinses and mineral therapies, but the curriculum still protects the industry, okay, not the patient. Now we get to one of my favorite topics, not because it's a wonderful, happy one, but it's the fluoride fraud, okay? And this is very hard hitting. Fluoride is actually rebranded toxic waste. It comes from phosphate fertilizer factories. They release something called fluorosilicic acid, and it's a hazardous byproduct. This chemical, it was illegal to dump in water or soil, but fertilizer companies took that, bottled it, skipped the purification process, and sold it directly to toothpaste makers and cities as a fluoride health benefit. And you'll see where this chain begins. It's so terrible. The chain started with Nazi Germany's chemical empire, IG Farben. They weren't just making fluoride though, okay? They were actually building a chemical architecture for genocide. IG Farben was producing Zyklon B, which was the gas that they used in the Nazi death camps. And they ran it at their own factory in Auschwitz using slave labor to make synthetic fuel, rubber, and industrial garbage compounds. And the fluoride and the fertilizers that were offshoots, they weren't just wartime tools, but they're part of a broader chemical war against human biology itself. So when the war ended and IG Farben was split, they split into Bayer. You recognize that name, Bayer, B-A-Y-E-R, BASF, and Hoechst. And Bayer is a company that didn't just survive, it grew. It acquired Monsanto in 2018. It brought in industrial fertilizer, glyphosate, and chemical waste all under one fancy umbrella. And Bayer didn't walk away from fluoride. You won't find that on the internet, but it was directly listed as a fluoride supplier, and they sold sodium fluoride and fluorosilicic acid. I have such trouble pronouncing that. But according to whistleblower archives and fluoride class actions in April of 2012, you will find that Bayer distributed these fluoride chemicals for use in water treatment and toothpaste. That means the same companies rooted in Nazi industrial chemical killing continued funneling its waste into public systems, disguising it as dental care. And Bayer rebranded this war-era waste as modern medicine, okay? Poison in a pretty package, that's what I like to call it. You look at the supply chain now and you'll only find names like Mosaic and Simplo. They produce phosphate fertilizers and then hand off their toxic runoff to suppliers. So those companies you'll see are like Yisheng Fluoride that are in China, American Elements in USA, and Bow International in India, okay? They refine that waste into toothpaste grade fluoride. It's still the same shit. Hazardous waste, renamed, repackaged, and sold as wellness. It's called a chemical bait and switch, industrial waste disguised as toothpaste. I really hope this is sinking in for you guys because it's huge. It's huge to have toothpaste be the end point of a chemical laundering scheme. Fertilizer waste, to industrial runoff, to chemical brokers, to rebranding, to consumer habits, and into your babies. And, you know, it didn't arrive in our bathrooms by accident. It's intentional diversion into public consumption, and it's based on propaganda and profit. And I really hope that makes sense. Because the paste on our brush is the last stop of a toxic relay. And I pray that this was so hard hitting that it makes you run from fluoride. And please, if you need to do your own research, do your own research. But you won't find anything other than fluoride crosses into the brain, disrupts hormone levels, builds up in the pineal gland and bones, okay? There's an NIH-funded element study that links prenatal fluoride to lower IQs in children. Yes, prenatal. So before your kids are even born, they're doomed to lower IQs from fluoride. And it's been banned in Europe, but in some countries like the US and in India, fluoride in water is still pushed. So definitely something to look more into, fluoride, okay? Other chemicals that we brush with include sodium lauryl sulfate, SLS. It's a foaming agent and it's commonly used in floor cleaners. And in your mouth, it erodes the tissue and it increases chemical absorption. So if you consume more chemicals, you get increased absorption now, and it alters taste. It doesn't just clean, it completely changes the inside. Then you get triclosan, which was an antibacterial that was banned from soaps by the FDA in 2016. And still, Colgate kept using it in their toothpaste until 2019, when they quietly pulled it from their shelves without making a fuss, okay? It's linked to hormone disruption, this chemical, mitochondrial damage, gut issues. In 2018, there was a lawsuit, Davidson versus Kimberly-Clark, which set that precedent for false antibacterial labeling, but no such lawsuit or accountability has hit the oral care markets. They also use things like artificial sweeteners, like colors and whitening agents, sorbitol, that's a sweetener that causes bloating and extra fermentation in your gut. You've got FD&C blue and red number 40. You'll recognize this. Remember the toothpaste that has blue on one side, red on this one side, and white in the middle? And it has no function whatsoever. It's just used for branding, and it's total crap hitting your brain. Blue number 1 crosses the blood-brain barrier. Titanium dioxide, which is E171, is a whitening agent that's banned in France for genotoxicity, and it's linked to DNA and chromosomal damage. None of these are here for us to heal. They're designed to keep us purchasing. Okay, so now let's talk neuroimmune consequences, okay? Because our mouth is just not this empty void that you just shovel food into, okay? No, it's not just a mechanical entryway. It's a neuroimmune tissue. It's electrically active. It's chemically intelligent. It's deeply integrated into the whole body's physiology. Saliva is not waste. It's medicinal fluid. Every time you brush with synthetic detergent pastes, you disrupt and wipe out the entire intelligence of that network. Saliva has something called secretory IgA, and this is the immune system's first responder. So you can imagine the first guy running up to coat your oral tissue, neutralize pathogens as they enter into the mouth. It also has lactoferrin, which binds to iron, and it regulates inflammation. And your saliva also has peroxidase, which breaks down hydrogen peroxide, and it controls oxidative stress. And then this is my fun one, amylase. Everybody wants more amylase, especially now when we're all concerned about wheat bellies. Amylase breaks down starches. So it initiates digestion and it communicates with the pancreas. And your toothpaste wipes that away. Lysosome, which tears open bacterial membranes, and hormonal peptides that modulate hunger and immunity, and tissue repair. Saliva even holds all of these. Saliva is amazing. And it even has, this is really, really critical, stem cell signaling molecules, okay? They trigger healing of the body. And epithelial renewal. So the entire system, it links to your gut, and it links to the vagus nerve. So it links to the gut through the vagus nerve and lymphatic channels and endocrine signaling pathways. And it's so intelligent. It's actually mind-blowing. So detergent-laced paste, fluorides, SLS, triclosan, flavorants, it sterilizes it, and it just wipes that whole barrier away. So we compromise the regeneration that's happening between the mouth and the gut, and we interrupt the body's ability to interpret poisons, signals, and respond. So let's talk about greenwash rituals, okay? Toothpaste doesn't just stop in your mouth. It travels through your body and into your brain if you've ingested it, or if you spit it out directly into your drain, and then it goes into the soil, and then it goes into the ocean. These are places we do not want these chemicals. Companies like Colgate, Procter & Gamble, Unilever, and GlaxoSmithKline, they use this beautiful green marketing to make their products seem eco-friendly. They show off their bamboo brushes and their recycled caps, and they say we're working towards zero waste goals. Exciting sustainability, but the actual toothpaste formula does not change, okay? It's still packed with SLS, fluoride, fake colors, and it comes in those crappy plastic tubes that are like almost next to impossible to recycle, okay? And their reports, their sustainability reports, they got words like circular economy and net zero, and these don't fix real problems. The ingredients and the packaging are still harming the environment, okay? I don't care how circular they take it. The pretty packaging and the green logos don't mean that it's safe. The branding is not real change, okay? International regulations, I realize that some of us are living in different spaces. Even myself, I end up traveling from one area to the other all the time. So not every country allows this. Germany, Denmark, and the Netherlands, they've banned fluoride in water. France has banned titanium dioxide in their food and their cosmetics. The EU has banned triclosan in most products. Japan and Scandinavia are now limiting SLS in children's products. But the US and India still allow all. Okay, so now we talk about cultural erasure. What did toothpaste replace? It didn't replace nothing. It replaced a very sophisticated oral pharmacology system that was rooted in plants and intelligence and a whole body connection. In India, taking care of your teeth was actually, it's a part of relationship with your digestion and with your doshas. And, tooth cleaning, it was done with the bark of trees. It's so cool, notably neem. But I remember as a child, I had a little neem toothbrush. I loved to use that. It was so fun. And then followed up by gandosh, which was oil pulling with sesame or coconut oils. And then gavla, which is a decoction rinsing, more like a gargling actually, with herbs like triphala, neem bark, clove, bilva, rock salt. Triphala is actually a blend of 3 dried fruits, one of which is gooseberry, which is the amla fruit. And these were immunological protocols. They regulate your enzymes, the saliva enzymes. They buffer the pH inside the mouth. They protect the whole oral gut access. And across other cultures, you'll find miswak in East Africa and in the Middle East as well. Salt and ash and tea rinses were used in China and Japan. And in indigenous American culture, you'll find bark powders. So there was a whole global diversity of plant-based, tooth care that was just so incredible. And no company could own or standardize or market it or sell it in tubes. So you can actually see that the whole thing is a market conquest disguised as progress. Our ancestors did not lack oral hygiene, okay, as the current colonial narrative would love for you to believe. They had very sophisticated mechanisms, okay, that took into account the entire bodily system. It is so beautiful. So for natural alternatives, let's dig deeper, okay? Neem is often called the toothbrush tree. It has been used for centuries to clean teeth, strengthen your gums. It supports oral microbiome balance. It contains powerful compounds like nimbidin and a couple others which are hard to pronounce for me, but they fight plaque and bacteria. They prevent gingivitis and bad breath. Neem is non-abrasive and the pH is neutral, so it makes it very gentle. It also acts as an astringent, and it's toning, and it helps with gum tissue rebuilding, and it reduces inflammation. So you can take the twig of the neem twig, and then you chew the end of it until it becomes like a toothbrush. Or you can even use powdered version in your DIY toothpaste. You can also use clove, which is another remedy that's got eugenol, and it's a natural analgesic and anti-inflammatory. So it's great for pain relief. It gives relief for toothaches and gum pain, and it also is antiseptic and prevents infection, and it promotes the healing of soft tissues. Clove is still commonly used in India. You can use clove oil or mix dried clove into your oral paste to soothe your gums and to fight bacteria. Another ingredient is activated charcoal. So if you break that down into where it comes from, like coconut shell, activated charcoal is really renowned for its ability to remove surface stains. Even though it's kind of dark in color, it takes surface stains off by, absorbing from coffee, tea, and food. And it helps to whiten teeth. And it also balances the pH in the mouth and neutralizes the acidic environments that harmful bacteria thrive in. So you can very finely mix highly milled food grade charcoal with other DIY toothpaste ingredients like salt or baking soda or neem powder for occasional use, okay? Salt and ash are also very simple, accessible ingredients. And they have a long-standing history of use in oral care. So salt raises the oral pH, and it prevents acid-loving bacteria from thriving. Ash provides trace minerals, okay, like calcium and potassium. And that helps to remineralize your teeth. Forget fluoride. You can use ash. To use them, you can mix fine salt, and it has to be fine, so you're not scrubbing away the enamel, okay? To use them, you can mix fine salt with ash, and ash has to be from untreated wood, okay? It must be untreated. And you can use it in a rinse or in a fine paste. And then oil pulling, which is a very ancient Ayurvedic practice, involves swishing coconut oil, and that detoxifies and heals the mouth. My healthcare coach, Chad Davis, who wrote The Prime Life, speaks very extensively on coconut oil pulling And I'll put a link if I can find one in the comment section for one of his videos on coconut pulling. But coconut oil has lauric acid in it, which is a powerful antimicrobial compound, and it breaks down biofilms and fights pathogens like Streptococcus mutans, which contributes to plaque and cavities. So oil pulling with coconut oil reduces gum inflammation. It promotes oral healing, and it strengthens the gum line. So if you're like me and you've got recession of the gums, I have a little bit, it's really helped to strengthen my gum. It boosts enzyme activity, and then it supports the body's natural detoxification processes. So to do oil pulling, you just put a tiny teaspoon or tablespoon of coconut oil, and for 10 to 15 minutes to start, you just swish it around and then you spit it out. And then you follow with just a warm water rinse. And it's great. It feels good. Actually, if you're on the verge of some dental crisis, I highly recommend starting the oil pulling same day. You'll find that your crisis diminishes a little bit. Now let's talk about cost comparison, okay? Because I do love to outline how much money you are going to save by switching from chemical crap and moving into things that you can find in your cabinet. It's a very smart financial decision. The average commercial toothpaste tube costs around $4 to $9 a pop USD, or 150 to 400 INR. And it's just made for 40 cents or 30 INR. It's really funny. It's a huge, massive markup. Now you can compare that to the natural solutions, okay? Neem twigs, lovely neem twigs, which are also, you can dispose of them without worrying about chucking your plastic. They cost less than $2 a month, or 30 cents USD. And DIY paste from coconut oil, clove, baking soda, activated charcoal, a whole year of if you get every single ingredient, will cost you less than 2,000 INR. And it will cost you, it'll save you about $100 USD annually, over the whole year. So it's a win-win-win-win for everybody. And the benefits just don't stop there, because you're going to have fewer dental interventions, less trips to the dentist, less fillings, less cleanings, less treatments required to chemical buildup. And you're going to be saving quite a bit of money, and also you're investing in your long-term health, which is priceless, absolutely priceless. And not to mention, this is another huge benefit, you're going to be reducing environmental impact. I know it's just you, but if many, many people eventually start doing it, then we can move to more sustainable, real sustainable alternatives, and stop, throwing our crap on Davy. That would be absolutely phenomenal if we could all do that. And we're creating habits that will last a lifetime and passing them on to our kids. So it's really time to break free from this cycle of unnecessary chemicals. I want you to remember, just from today, neem to clean, coconut oil to pull, and triphala to protect with your swishy mouthwash. So if you're interested, please join our private WhatsApp community. You can connect with like-minded individuals committed to creating really healthy, natural routines, and we can empower each other and make the switch and support each other along the way, with fails and with successes. So if you're ready to do that, comment, I'm ready to brush up on a healthier routine, in the comment section. And I'd love to hear about any other things that you've used, your DIY toothpaste, your experiences with transitioning, and please share this video, because when you speak up, you inspire others to take action too. We're not alone in all of this. This is a community, and it's about supporting with knowledge and transformation, get nice, beautiful, healthy teeth. So don't forget to subscribe, and please share this message. Let's spread the truth and inspire others to reclaim their health. We're just getting started in uncovering the secrets, and I really look forward to doing this with you.